see. Sending data.
Sure. Shit ain't dirty or something.
All right, cool. Let's do it. My name is Rex45 with Be Forever Cool. This is the first of hopefully many of the Vroom Vroom Wednesday where we do a monthly recap of the month of August. I got TJ in the building, also Smitty as well. TJ, man, what's going on? Tell people a little about yourself and how you got into riding.
What's going on, guys? My name is TJ. About 2012, I got into motorcycles. Been riding on the street. Um, been an enthusiast ever since. As you know, I ran into Rexy through a friend of mine that was riding on the track that I didn't know was possible. I gave it a shot. I took the Penguin Road Racing course up in Loudoun, New Hampshire. Got hooked immediately when I test rode the 400, and ever since I've been on an R6 as of late. But got into racing through this guy Rexy, and I never looked back.
When did you jump on a bike?
2012 is when I first started riding, and 2020 is when I started racing in the track.
Man, that's what's up. How about yourself, Smitty?
The short version, I started riding a bike back in 2000, I want to say 01. Honda F4i, repping the Hondas as usual. And then I kept crashing the bike, right? I crashed 3 times in the first year doing dumb stuff. So, I got to find a safe way to ride. So I did like a little race school at the Ed Bargy Race School. I crashed there too, but that's a whole other story anyway. And stopped riding for a while. I had kids. My kids are grown now, 23, 20, and 19. They're on their own, so I'm back riding again past couple years. And I started racing officially probably 3 years ago with Vera. So here I am.
Nice. Yeah, and for me, I probably started, I started riding in 2012, started racing pretty much after I started in LRRS in Loudoun, New Hampshire, New Hampshire Speedway. And same thing like TJ, one of my buddies, I started out on a Street Fighter 848. And one of my buddies I went riding with him. Usually when they go riding, they're out for like 8 hours and stuff like that. And I couldn't ride at all, really. And he was like, when we stop and get gas, he would give me pointers and stuff like that. And then along the line, he was like, "Yeah, buy my race bike and come to the track." And so I did that over the winter. And in 2013, took the Penguin course and got my license and then hit the ground running from there, and pretty much been at the track every year since, minus injuries or finance.
It is expensive, I'll tell you that.
You think?
Yeah. That was one of the hardest things for me is getting the expense down. And when I first started on the track, I didn't have a truck. I didn't have a trailer or any of that. I was getting my bike towed by other friends to the track, and I would meet them there, and then gradually got into it. But I was like, I'm not giving this up. I'm gonna find a way, to stay on the track.
And I think that's the hardest part, right? Getting to the track. Same thing. I mean, I think a lot of people, unless you got cash like that, a lot of people, it's you're saving up and getting your suit, and sometimes it's an entry level suit, and you're doing the U-Haul rental. For me, I had the Audi wagon and was towing back and forth until I could kind of upgrade as time progressed. And I think that's the hardest part when you come into racing. Trying to figure out what you need. How to just for lack of a better word, survive the weekend, right? Because there's so much that goes into it, and planning and packing and stuff like that. What was that like for both of you when you guys first got out there and stuff?
Oh, for me, it was tough money wise because you're buying all this new stuff all at once. You're buying first got to buy a bike, right? First, used bike, minimum 5 grand for a used bike nowadays. Then you gotta get the track stuff, the fairings, rear sets, the tires. So I mean, then a trailer. So then in my case, but I had a car, so now had to buy a truck. So yeah, it was a lot at first, So yeah, it still sucks, man, buying all this stuff. Helmets, leathers, boots, everything, man. Gloves, it's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, man. And that's crazy because in hindsight, I think, and I'll let you talk, TJ. I don't know how many trailers you have bought over the years and vehicles, but it was like a 5x8, a 7x12, and now 18 by 8.5, and then the vehicles to tow that too. So I mean, it's 10 years, but it is you're kind of always like upgrading the bike and upgrading the camper.
Yeah. Big. You got an 18-foot trailer? Okay, big money left.
It's a cargo trailer, and I converted it. So because I looked at toy haulers and stuff like that, and based on where I lived in Boston at the time, I didn't have enough space. I would have loved to have gotten like a 24 or a 20 footer, but I needed, because I didn't have a lot of space to park. I ended up just getting a regular cargo and converting it through solar on the roof. So a couple of solar panels on the roof, shower, 55-gallon water tank, hot water, on demand hot water, a refrigerator, and a mini split. So and insulated and stuff like that. So now when I go to when I just stop off at Walmart, I get to the track and I don't have to leave again until it's time to go back home.
God, man. I got a 5x8 open trailer.
Yeah, that's how mine is.
Yeah, talk about that, man. Because I think out of all of us, as far as coming to the track, TJ, I think you're about 4 years into it now. So I remember them days.
Yeah, I basically started with nothing. Just had a car, like I said. As the time went by, I try to go to track as much as possible. You realize the things that you need. Every race, I was like, all right, I'm coming back next round with this, or so and so. For instance, transportation, like at the track. First time I was there, I didn't bring a bicycle. I was walking around, like never again, not doing that. So started bringing a bicycle that I was putting together, even though it was a little piece of junk, but I didn't care. And at first, I got a little pickup truck, a mid-size. I was so happy to get that thing, and I could finally transport my bike. And then it didn't bother me, throwing it up on the ramp and throwing it on the truck. And then after a while, that got old real quick. So as time went on, I found a 5x8 open trailer and designed that where I can pull 2 bikes, and found a hitch, threw it on, and it makes life easier. So yeah, as time went on, was getting little things here and there to help me help make things easier. But it definitely took some time, and I want to say anyone can start from scratch. I mean, when I first started on the 400, when I rented, like I said, it was a pretty expensive time there. I crashed a bike at the track, but it was a expensive learning experience, and like I knew I wanted to start on a 600, so I was fortunate to get one from this guy, and now my next project is going to be an enclosed trailer.
Oh, me too. But Rex likes small bikes anyway, so.
Now I do. But it's funny, yeah, because he has a. I sold him a '07 R6.
Okay.
And yeah, but it's it's like it's all about kind of like with TJ was just kind of paying it forward because like my buddy Jesse, I bought his SV 650. I mean he charged him like $2,800, and the bike didn't need anything but gas and some tires. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I rode that bike from 2013 till the 2015, end of 2015. And I sold that bike to build the '07 R6. And so yeah, so it's one of those things just to be able to get guys or gals that are trying to come to the track. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can always try to make money off of your old bikes or your old stuff and stuff like that. But in cases where when like me, I didn't have any clue. It was really good to be able to buy a bike that's affordable, and I didn't need to throw any money into it right away. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So yeah, so now how what at Smitty, for you going to the track and stuff like that and open trailer, so are you camping out in a tent? Because I know TJ did that for a little bit. I know some other people did that for a little bit. I haven't camped out in a tent, but I slept in my my Audi A4
Nah.
though. So.
Okay, so for me, where I live, it's a great spot in Atlanta. So 2 tracks. You have Road Atlanta, which is probably about an hour and a half north of me. Barber, 2 hours west.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go home every night, honestly, and come back the next morning. Cause drive ain't that bad. So, but yeah, camping out at the track in back of my car, nah, I ain't built like that.
You're just driving back and forth.
Yeah, because like I said, the drives aren't that far, so that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Loudon, that was a cool thing that for us, we live in well, he still live in Boston.
Okay.
It was like an hour and a half drive up. The biggest thing is just traffic for people going to camping and vacation is going up to Maine and stuff like that in Vermont. But outside of that, it was a quick hour and a half ride as well. So that wasn't so bad. Not like now down here. I mean, my closest track down here now is 3.5 hours to Homestead.
Oh, okay.
So, and so in Atlanta, are you getting to go to a lot of different tracks? What's that like?
So like I said, we have Road Atlanta, Barber, Little Tally, which I don't like. And then a bit further, you have Jennings, which is like 4 hours away. Then CMP, which is in Carolina, about 5 hours away. So those are tracks that I go to mostly, those 4. But for the most part, Barber and Road Atlanta, 2 hours at the most. So.
Wow, we're gonna have to get you to go further. I think I at least got one person that's down to go to Laguna Seca.
No, dog, check it out. So that is my dream. And next year, if it's not now, so there's a guy named Dustin Corner who's doing a track day there, I want to say this weekend.
Yep.
Yes. And they have like a no decibel limit also. I'm doing that for sure next year. So
Okay.
I'm going to drive out the 20 plus hours to Laguna Seca, take a week off from work, maybe 2 weeks, because I'm done to ride that track, man.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Me too.
Yeah, same here. I think that's the plan for next year. Whether I think it's Armor or Track Day, one of the two. Just to it's on my bucket list of tracks to go to.
100%.
And that's gonna be. I mean, I think it's good. Like I don't know how. Yeah, it might be similar for you and I because it's probably like 30 hours one way.
That's mad far. So.
Man.
So.
But I'm gonna do it though, man. And then also my son, he lives out in like El Paso, so I'm gonna bring his bike and we're gonna go out there, the 2 of us. So little father son track day at Laguna Seca. So.
Oh, that's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Yeah, let's we'll stay in touch and try to
For sure.
I think my trailer can fit at least 4 or 5 bikes.
Okay.
So, yeah, you know what I'm saying, and you're just up the road.
Nah, you're right. Yeah, I'm right off 75.
So yeah. So
anyway, right.
Yeah, for sure. So, and you got any racing plan for the rest of the season? What's the rest of the season looking like for you?
So what's today? Today's Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a track day on Friday at Road Atlanta, and then the next day a race. So I'm racing this weekend actually at Road A. And for me, that's not a strong track at all. So I'm terrible there.
Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard track,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. No, it definitely it reminds me of Pitt with the elevation changes and stuff like that. I think Pitt has 18 or 17 corners, something like that. But it reminds me that. And you know, I was on it on a KTM RC 390, so it's not like the middleweight bike. So it's, you know, I have more time to steer at the apexes and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But you know, looking at the Moto America races there and stuff like that, yeah, that's a fast track.
Because for me, the hardest part is going up the hill. Like after turn one, I hate it. It's so narrow. There's only one line, you can't pass anybody,
Right.
and it's just real. Yeah, I've ran off there probably 3 times, honestly.
Your
I
dirt,
ain't crashed now, but I ran off.
getting your dirt track on.
Yeah, look like like James Stewart out there, man.
What about the last corner there? I thought that would be one of the harder ones, coming down that hill and then going on to the straight, because it's a tight entrance that it's hard to pass there as well. From
That was
watching
not that
Moto America.
hard, but you misjudged because you're going downhill, and breaking downhill is just different from breaking on a flat surface. So it's not hard, but it's hard to misjudge it. You're breaking. That's all.
Yeah, and so how many times have you been to Road Atlanta? Because I find that for me, I think I at least need at least like 5 or 6 times at a track to kind of feel like I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going. You know, I still got corners to figure out, but it's
Yeah.
not all the corners, you know.
I've been there about 4 times probably, which is more. I mean, I need more. So simple as that. So I need more.
Right. That's what's up. How about you, TJ? How much more racing you got, and you coming down to Miami in December?
Well, I wish I can. You know, that's the goal. At first, you know, when I first started, I raced at Loudon for 2+ years before I even touched another track. I think 2023 was the year where I reached out. I went to New York Safety Track. I went to Poconos in Pennsylvania. It's probably the furthest I've been so far. Been to Thompson, and I think I've been to one other track besides that. But you know, we're still trying to stretch out a little further. As you know, got to save up, but definitely want to hit Road Atlanta for sure. I play that game so much on the video game, so I love that track as far as
Right.
video game. And definitely want to hit Homestead because it's cold up here in December, February, so need to get down there in the south.
Nice. Yeah, I think for me, at the moment, I think I'm doing like maybe 3 or 4 track days. I'm actually going up to Boston next week to bring my KTM's up to get service. One of the things that I found moving down here so far, I haven't been able to find a good mechanic that can work on my bikes yet. So, I felt like I've looked all around Florida and just was just like, all right, I got to go to Boston anyway. Let me take the bikes up, get them all prepped up, and get them ready for next season, which hopefully will start at CCS in December. But I'll still do some track days on the R6 just to, you know, stay on the bike, because that's the one downside when you're not riding as much. It's hard to when it's like, you know, if you take like 2 months off and then you go to the track, that first day sometimes is just feeling your way back on the track, you know.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
So
Definitely first day to come back to try to practice before hitting the race day, but you know, got to make what they can make work. That first day, you gotta iron out the kinks for sure.
right.
There's guys out there to put you in check, sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so, like, you know, talking about wrenching bikes and stuff like that. What's that been like? You know, kind of experience have you had? You know, dealing with like mechanics and stuff like that in the racing community, and dealing with people in the racing community. What's that been like for TJ or yourself, Smitty?
Go ahead, TJ.
So I mean, as far as the race community, every time I had an issue with a bike, especially at the track, I mean, we got a little Facebook social where we can just post something, and there's someone that will pretty much respond immediately. So, knock on wood, I haven't had any real issues. But when it comes to servicing the bikes, if you don't know at the track, eventually you will. So, like, if I had to change a tire. You know, eventually you got to do it yourself or open something up. But someone there will have tools. So it really hasn't been a real big problem with changing anything on the bike as of yet, and hopefully nothing major.
Yeah. For myself, I do most things myself anyway. Air filters, oil, change my chain, tires. I mean, it's not that bad. So, but I don't go in the engine. But anything outside of that, I'm fine doing it myself. So, it ain't that bad.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of same thing. Like suspension work, I won't mess with. Engine, cracking open the engine, I won't mess with because I'm just. I know I could probably figure out torque specs on the wrench. I have a torque wrench, but it's just.
Torque. Hey, it's a funny story. I don't torque shit. I just say, you know what? It's tight enough. It's good.
Wow.
You're using the
I
Smitty
torque
torque.
nothing at all.
Well, I mean,
One of my friends just gave me a torque wrench this past race weekend because I was doing the same thing. He was like, no, take this torque wrench, doing everything to spec. So
Yeah.
I guess from here on out, I'm gonna have to get all my numbers.
Yeah, I have one. Never used it. And nothing fell off it, so I'm good.
I feel you. I mean, on the KTM or RC390, right? Maybe not as bad, but on the R6, I mean, or your Honda, I mean, you're probably doing like what 150 top speed on that thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm still here, right? So
I hear that.
God on my side, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's trust me. I've had some like spaces. I've always had like changing wheels and stuff like that, or changing gearing. Not getting when I first started doing it, not getting like the spaces in correctly.
Okay.
I've had issues with that where like the wheel is not on properly, essentially, and just causing some physical damage. I mean, I caught it in time, but it is like those things. Like you put the wheel on, it's not on right. You go out, do a practice or whatever. You come back in, putting tire warmers on and stuff. You're looking at the wheel, and it's just like, oh, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? And then pulling stuff apart, and just missing like a dust cover or whatever, right? Can be the difference of scratching the side of your frame or whatever with the rim.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, but that ain't torque. That's a you problem.
No, trust me, it's a lot of it's a me problem. That's why I try to find people to do
I
it.
know.
So I can't put it on me.
I know.
But that I think that's the one downside about the environment. It is the people who are really good. They're really busy. And so you always got to kind of get them, like, for me, I try to get them early as possible. And then the people who got time on their hand, they forget to put things
They're not
back on
good.
your bike.
Right.
So that can be an issue. But yeah, man, let's keep going and let's talk about MotoGP a little bit, and the few rounds that happened in August. Silverstone with Bastianini winning the sprint and the main race. I mean, what do you guys think about how MotoGP is going? Is it to your liking?
It is, but one thing that I'm shocked about is how fast Acosta turned around. Like them first like probably 5 races, he was killing stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
And now he crashes. He crashes like more than Marquez last year. Now, dude is just like, what's going on with the guy, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the competition is just evolving a little bit. Like the 2024 bikes have been figured out. Even Mark Marquez is starting to chase. Feel like he's falling back. But Pedro Acosta surprised us all. I think, especially for the first half of the season, he was like untouchable, invincible.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of like at his, I don't want to say regular self, but kind of like what we expect him to be at. But hopefully he can turn it around.
I hope so too.
And do you think it's him trying too hard, or the season riders on the 2024 bikes are sorting out the gremlins and they're just getting quicker, and now he has to push out, not outside his skill set, but outside of his experience skill set?
I think it's both. He's a rookie. He's still getting used to the bike and the tracks at that pace. Because I mean, it's a harder bike to ride. It's just more physical, demand. So he's still growing up, I guess. But it's odd seeing how he came out the gate lightning fast. Now he looks, normal now. So
Yeah, you agree, TJ?
Oh yeah, no, I do agree. He was lightning fast out the beginning. Now he looks normal. I think the Gremlins is finally hitting though.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, what do you think about his teammate Fernandez? Do you think he got a fair shake? Well, he didn't get a fair shake because he doesn't have a ride. He's going to be a test rider for Yamaha, I believe, next year. But do you think because of Acosta, how well Acosta did, kind of overshadowed, Fernandez? And I mean, do you think he should have got another year with that team, or you just think he's a bum?
he's still young. He's like
Bum is not the right
24.
word. I
Fucking
apologize.
bum.
Go ahead.
The way the KTM does things, I think Pedro Costa just stole the spotlight. I don't think he's a bum. He's still young. We're talking about Augusto, but I feel like he deserves another year. But they turn the tables pretty quick on their riders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. They did that with Remy Gardner. And he's over there in World Superbike coming into his own right now. And he won the world title.
Yeah.
Well, Fernandez did too, right? Didn't he win the title too when he came in?
I think Moto 2, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So very disrespectful, KTM. Very disrespectful. And what do you think about the situation with Yamaha, Renz, and Quattarara, and then Pramac moving over to Yamaha now? We still don't know who's on those bikes. I know there's rumors of Miller going over. Maybe Joe Roberts.
I hope Joe goes because we were hoping Joe went to Trackhouse, but they signed Agura. And I get it. He's a better rider than Joe. He's second in points. Joe is third. So it makes sense. You get a better rider. And then also because the Japanese market is bigger than the market over here, it makes sense also financially. But I still want to see Joe get a ride, so.
TJ?
I wonder if he will get on the Yamaha C. I'm not sure, but I know Morbidelli, I think he's on the Primac, switching over to the Yamaha.
No.
But yeah, I think
Morbidelli's going to VR46 for 2025.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, sorry, not Primac. But yeah, I'm not sure who's gonna get to see yet. It's coming down to the crunch time. Yeah, I do hope it's Joe. So
yeah, I hope.
Like
so
I said,
too.
we was all expecting him to be on the American team, but our thoughts didn't work that way. Didn't make any sense. But like you brought it up, Smitty, that Irigor second in points or leading over Joe. So he's overall the better rider.
And do you guys think in Joe Roberts' case of when he had the opportunity to go to Aprilia, do you think they're holding out against him now?
No, I don't think so. It just, sometimes that door is open. You don't go through it. You don't know what's gonna open next. So I think Joe shot himself in the foot by not going when he had to. And now the doors aren't there anymore. So
Right.
just the way the dominoes fall, I guess.
Do you think that's kind of the decision where Aldiger kind of made, where that opportunity came up and he's taking it? He didn't even know what team he was going to be on. He just said, "I want to be a part of Ducati." So, you think in Joe's case, where he was probably in that situation, declined it to stay. So hopefully, Aldiger takes this opportunity and makes it worth it, basically.
Hope so. You know what I'm saying? Hope so.
Some riders don't think they're ready, so
right.
You
brought up Aldiger, and do you think he's performing to like if he wasn't signed at the beginning of the season and they waited to sign him? Do you think he would have made it to MotoGP based on how he rode this year?
No, I mean,
Aldiger, and he's in Moto 2 right now.
Yeah.
Do you think based on because he really hasn't been doing well based on how he finished last year? I think last year he won like the last 4 or 5 races before the season was over, and then this year he's kind of just been up and down, but mostly down. I know he's won. I think he's won like a couple of races, but you would think he would have been consistently at the front.
True. And he's in fifth place right now, so behind Joe Roberts. So I mean, you'll see.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. No, yeah. So let's get back to Yamaha. What do you think about you think they're gonna finish in the top 10 before the end of the season? It seems like Quartararo is finding a little bit of speed. And Alex Rins unfortunately just keeps crashing and hurting himself.
I mean, top 10, yeah, I think so. I believe so. But top 5 or win a race, nah, not even close. But same as Honda. Honda we had to get in top 15.
Yeah,
That hurts.
I'll say top 15 is more like it. Fabio's been fighting so hard this year, and he's still showing his frustrations where he thought they would improve more than they did. Right now, they're still kind of stuck in their ways, or just haven't improved where he thought they would. So, knowing that there's 8 Ducatis, you still got KTM up in there and their talent. I think top 10 is it's hard. I think I would say top 15 for Yamaha for sure. Especially with Rins, your teammates can't help you, especially blocking certain riders. Like it's just out there pretty much himself.
Gotcha.
Right. And Smitty, you brought up Honda. It seems like Zarco, it seems like he's been the fastest guy on the Honda so far. You kind of same place. You think they're probably going to hover around 15, 16.
At best, yeah. And it's sad to see Honda fall so far from where they were before. So I don't know why, but it's just Ducati just does things different and better, So
right.
At least on that level, they're better.
What are your thoughts with Mir re-signing for 2 years?
I mean, I like it. I like Mir, what I'm saying? Championship win a couple years ago. So, I mean, he's solid, Consistent guy. I like him.
I think it's a good choice too. I mean, I like Mir. Obviously, wanted to see him to find a better fit, knowing that he didn't have 2 seasons. Basically, crashed 90% of the races. Right. But to have a manufacturer still behind you, kind of says a lot. So it's good to see him give another shot. Plus, he's an experienced rider. He has a championship. And they need somebody out there. I mean, like Luca Marini or someone that has experience that can take a lead.
Right.
Right. Do you think Taka Nakagami is going to get re-signed, or it look like Samkat Chantra is going to step up to fill that last Honda seat?
I don't know, because Samkat's pretty good though, right? He was better last year. He kind of fell off a little bit, but that dude's solid, man. And he has personality, what I'm saying? He's just excitable guy, always smiling, laughing, but so I like him though, man. I like him a lot. So Samkat Chantra, he's solid. Man. It's a cool ass name too, man.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
Yeah.
He fast. That boy real fast. What do you think, TJ?
Well, I think it's a good fit. It's good to see younger riders come into moving up as well. But I think it's like you said, his name is pretty cool. Bring attention. He's a good rider.
His name is legendary, man. So I'm gonna name my next kid one day, man.
You got plans.
That's I have no more.
I see that's how it happens. He'd be legendary, and then a lot of names come up
right
behind that.
Name. I gotta use it. But the British Grand Prix, did you guys see Bastianini winning that after the summer break and coming back? I mean, did you see that?
Yeah, that was good, man.
I didn't see it. I didn't see him winning. I seen him being Bastianini.
Choking.
Yeah.
Right.
Him winning the sprint was pretty impressive, but I was like, okay, he got his win in the sprint, and then I was like, Pecco is gonna do what he has to do because Pecco crashed out in the sprint. When he crashes, he don't like sprints anyway, but when he crashes out, the GP is all his, and he was able to put his foot down and chase back like Marc Marquez towards the end. past a couple people and get that first, especially past Jorge Martin, who's been hard to ride against this year.
Right.
You know, and do you guys think those two guys got a fair deal with Ducati, or do you think they're like riding pissed for the rest of the season, and Marquez will not finish in front of them for the rest of the
Oh
season?
no, they're both mad, both of them, and I get it. But as I said before, I think Mark was the better pick based on his fan base and money and things like that, and he's still fast. But I can see how Martin and the Beast will be upset, that he got picked and not them.
Right.
I get it though.
Seems like a little bit of
Yeah,
extra fuel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they're riding angry. But you can't ride too angry because you make mistakes that way. But they just can't show it. But especially Bassanini talking about he's the beast, and I think he's
Right.
finally woken up. I know one thing is he's taking a little soul out of Jorge Martin. So I know Martin does not want to see him anywhere near him for the rest of the season. It's gonna mess up his championship chasing Pecco.
Right.
Because that's all it takes is someone fighting against someone else and that leader take off. So
Yeah, I
And this year,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'll say so. If Pecco wins this year, this number 3, right? Championship or number 2? I forgot.
It'll be a three-peat.
3.
Okay, so who else has 3
3.
championships?
3 or more?
Yeah.
Hey,
Mark.
Lorenzo.
Okay. That's like great categories to be in, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Especially in the premier class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and to me,
That's great company.
Pecco rides like a Ohe when he gets out in front.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, you know what I mean? Like just hitting the same times, pretty much over and over and over. Do you think that to get back to the looking at Silverstone and looking at a Saxon Ring, I think it's Saxon Ring, right? And Saxon Ring was a Red Bull Ring after that.
Yeah.
Currently, the 24 GP bikes is in front of the 23 bikes. Is it just a matter the bike is just that much better, or motivation again for them two riders?
No, I think the bike's better, The bike's better, so it's my take. Could be wrong, but
Yeah, I think the bike's slightly better, but we also say, but where is the bike better? Is it better every corner on the straightaway? Every rider has different weight and height. So I think the 24 bikes has just finally been figured out.
right.
For sure that they're slightly better. I think just with the power. I don't know if it's just corner speed. I think it's just overall power. Whenever there's a straight, it's just a little gap difference.
We'll see this weekend at Motor and Aragon. Right? That's a fast track, so.
Oh man, that last back straight, man, it can like touch 6th gear, headline that,
I'm not sure, but I think this straight is longer than Magello's, right?
It must be that back straight. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's pretty long.
It is pretty long. It'll be interesting to see this weekend. Before we leave off Ducati, let's talk about Gian Antonio. He looked like he was coming into his own. Dislocated his shoulder. Not coming into his own.
Nah, I don't like Digi, man.
Okay, explain. Let's talk about it.
He's not showing me what I thought. I don't know. I don't see nothing at all, honestly. Not much. I see a flash here or there, then nothing, honestly. So,
do you think he's riding better than Bezzecchi?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But still, though, man.
And he's...
I put him on the spot now. because Marco, I like him, though.
I know, he's been struggling. I like him too, man. I thought he was going to do way better this year.
Yeah, but because last year he was doing nice, then I don't know what happened, man.
He got hurt after he got that dirt bike accident. It took him. Something is just hasn't clicked yet since then. But and I think Digi as well. I think for Digi, I don't know if I want to lump Mark Marquez into this, but I think Digia and even Alex Marquez, because those guys rode better last year on the 22 bikes, and Bezecchi, Martin and Bagnaia figured out a 23 bike pretty much like 6 races in last year. Right,
Okay.
they figured it out. I think Martin might have been quicker in the beginning because Pecco was crashing out. So they got all that data, they have all that stuff. But it to me, I go back to Digia. He's been the most consistent outside of Marquez on
Okay,
the
fair.
on the 23
You're
bike.
not wrong though, man.
But
But
you compared to what he did last year, right? You wanted
yeah,
to see that this year too. I feel
right.
what you're saying because I was definitely expecting. I assume they were from themselves as well. A lot more from the VR46 guys. I mean, the team.
Right.
What do you think?
Digi has 104 points, and Bezecchi's at 73.
Right.
I mean, they both have not great years, sure.
Huh? You're right though.
And Bezecchi for sure had bad luck all season. I don't know. It's a toss up. I think Digi's been having an okay year, but like Smitty said, there's just something that he's not standing out like he should.
Right. He did get a factory 2-year deal, and he's
Okay, true.
and he's getting a 25 bike. So
that's a good deal. They see something. They see something in him, but hopefully that 25 bike treats him well. I mean,
right.
do want to talk about something later about some racer that's talking about other races, what bikes they shouldn't be on and stuff like that.
Right.
You heard about that?
Not yet, but I would love to hear about it. Let's talk about Morbidelli. He's coming to his own on a Ducati, first year on a Ducati. I think the last round at the Red Bull Ring, if him and Marquez didn't get into it, I thought he would have had a good run. Is he? Do you think he's getting more chances than? Than Fernandez, I guess, right? Some of these other riders.
Frankie's getting a lot of chances, man.
Frankie
I don't know if
he got
listen,
photos.
he blackmailed somebody, man. I'm telling you, man. The dude could be in last place. He'd be signed next year for sure, somehow, man. So it is what it is, man. They say he got photos of somebody, man.
Well, he might got something.
Yeah.
Rossi's his boy, right? I think he's the first
True.
official VR46 Academy rider. You can say Marco Simoncelli might have been, the first one, but officially. So again with injuries, right? That's the crazy part about injuries. With Penny Hardaway and these guys and Grant Hilt and these guys with injuries. Morbidelli's a guy like he was riding the rails off the Yamaha until he jacked his knee up, and it's taken. Grant Hill took like 10 years to come back, but like Morbidelli, it's been like 3+ years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Martin got hurt. What, like two? I want to say 2 years ago, and he came back pretty strong. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends, I guess, right?
And he broke like 9 bones or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he was crushed, but he came back, healthy, and look at him now, he's doing good. So he has a lot of grit. Like that word, grit.
That's one thing about these riders; they're definitely superhuman. So when they get hurt, they come right back. They still able to ride good. Morbidelli, like you said, I don't know who he's speaking to. He's gotten a lot of chances since I started watching MotoGP in 2020, or a little bit before that, like 2018. His status then. A couple of my friends love him just like Rexy does. So to see him,
I like it.
Just see him get the chances that he has, and especially we thought he was having a bad year where he got a 23 bike, I think he's on, or 24, but he was switching to Ducati. We was like, all right, now this is the year that, he can show something, at least top 10 or get some podiums. Maybe I think once or twice this year where we was like, wait, what is Frankie doing up in top 5 right now? Running with the fast guys. But
what sucks is, and honestly, but all joking aside, I think Frankie's a good guy. He's doing okay. But I feel like those bottom like 15, like and below guys, if they're that in that spot for so long, get them out and bring in some new guys. Really, you have a ton of guys in, like I said, Moto 2. You got, Joe Roberts, probably don't got a ride yet. Alonso Lopez, he's fast also.
Right.
He ain't got a ride yet.
Yeah.
And those guys, they're young. So why not? I mean, it can't be worse than what they're doing now, right?
Right. I mean, speaking on what you just said, what I was bringing up is Alicia Spargo. I have to check what he said or who he spoke to, but he said that was one of the things he said, that Franco Morbidelli and Jack Miller shouldn't be on the bikes that they're on. Saying that case in point with Morbidelli is that Fabio has passed him in every practice, every sprint race, always had better results.
Yeah.
And Morbidelli has the newer bike. So he's saying that should go down to someone younger to give them a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, in all fairness, Alicia's retiring, and he was on,
I know,
he was on the Aprilia for a long time, and that bike was bad. You know what I'm saying? And and even when he was on the Tech 3, I think he was on Tech 3 Yamaha and finishing down in the points. I mean, somebody kept you around till you were 35, bro. I think Jack Miller and them dudes at least deserve to be around for 35. And I think
he's the popcorn kettle black, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so and in all fairness, I don't know what happened with Jack Miller. He helped KTM get over the hump when he came last year. And they figured out, and then they got really quick last year, and they were very competitive last year. I don't know what happened this year, but they definitely were more competitive last year. And he helped do that. You know what I'm saying? Not Brad. You know what I mean? Not some of these other guys that were there for a while. He helped do that. So I mean, I think they held out. They helped him. He stayed a 2-year contract and stuff like that. But if you're developing a bike, you need experienced riders to develop that bike.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to say, these guys don't deserve it. And, even like Jack could have stayed with Pramac or the factory team for one more year, but he didn't want to sign them 1-year contracts. Even with like Zarco, right? These guys could have had these 1-year contracts and stuff like that, but they wanted more security. So it's not like they're not good riders. They wanted more security. So now they're on a bike that's not as superior as the Duck.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair point.
So, yes.
Do you think Morbidelli's going to be better off on a Yamaha coming in 2025?
Oh, no.
I think he's better off the worst superbike, man.
Morbidelli's going to be on a Ducati for 2025, man. Come on.
Yeah, he got a ride here.
Yeah.
Again.
VR46 Academy. He's throwing up them signs. I think that, Morbidelli. So, Morbidelli knocked himself out on a Panigale at pre-testing, right? He was unconscious. The Marquez brothers stayed with him until medic came and stuff like that. And so he didn't, all that pre-testing stuff, he missed all that. So he's kind of behind on the folks that didn't miss out, you know what I'm saying? So I think he's getting a break because of that, and you see him come into his own. But he's a first-year dude on a bike.
Right.
You know what I mean? No different than, a little different than Acosta because he's been in MotoGP, but it's similar to Marquez, right? Because they both been in, they were on different bikes prior to that. So I think him coming into the 2025 on the same bike as this year, he's going to get a leg up on the competition.
Okay.
For next year.
But next year's a whole new bike. I mean, so
Oh, not for him. He's still taking on. He's getting a 24. Digi is getting a 25 bike in the VR46 Academy.
But I thought like next year they're going to the 890s. I think it is.
Oh, that's 2027. 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to the 850cc.
Okay.
In 27. And some people think that's when Honda and Yamaha is going to come into their own because when they had the 800cc Yamahas and stuff like that, Honda. They were very competitive versus going up to the 1,000 or 999.
Yeah, so I hope so.
Trying to stop Ducati's success, huh? All you Ducati lovers, yeah, we got to get y'all 2 years.
Right.
Next 2 years, it's over
Yeah.
for you guys.
Have your fun, man, while it lasts.
Come on, man. Listen, Honda.
I'm not biased. I
No,
like
no, no,
Ducati.
no. Full disclosure, I have 2 Ducatis and I had 2 Yamahas. Actually, 3 Yamahas because I got a TTR whatever trail
Okay.
bike, and so I'm a fan of both bikes. I've had a Honda VFR. I'm a fan of that stuff. But when Ducati only had Casey Stoner that won championship,
Yeah.
and when Yamaha and Honda was smacking up Ducati, nobody was saying nothing. Like, come on, they got 2 titles, man, just 2.
Get you all out.
Ducati was getting smacked up for like a decade, man. Come on,
How
Yeah.
many bikes were they running though?
that's not the point. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I think even if they weren't running the 6 bikes, I think the way they brought tech into MotoGP because they were the originators of not necessarily the originators, but they mastered it, right? To where all the other manufacturers were copying the wings and copying the launch devices and the ride height devices and stuff like that. Those are all Ducati, and then everybody else is copying that. And I think because of that, like anything, if I build a house a certain way and everybody else copy it, it's not going to be quite the same thing. It's like that old, Cosby episode with the fashion dude there. But
Gordon Gortrell.
exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think for Ducati, that's why and they figured out like all the team, everybody works together. We all look at the same data. We all help to make the bike get better. And that wasn't always Ducati way because they fought with Lorenzo on that when he first came to Ducati. That whole first year, they didn't really listen to him until like in midway of the second year, right? And by then he signed a Honda. So
Yeah.
I think
True.
they learned all that. But all I'm just saying is like let Ducati have the reign for a little bit.
But look, you got 2 more years. That's it, man.
You got 2 back-to-backs with Pecco, and you might get a third this year.
That's
You know, you
enough.
got
Right.
Pecco and Marquez next year. You know,
But
so
Think about
speaking
this.
of, go ahead, Rex.
Between Rossi and Marc Marquez and Lorenzo, how many titles does Honda and Yamaha have? Right?
A lot.
Come on. What's
But
what are we talking about? 4?
Okay, but you know what though? And Ducati even over here now in Motor America, Josh Herring might win it this year. You know,
Yeah.
and that'd be Ducati's first one in forever.
Right. I mean, yeah. Danilo was close a couple of years ago, finishing second against Gagne.
Well, he was second, but not close though.
Well, no one was close. I mean, come on.
Right.
But he was at least, he's like he just got to America. He's like, I don't know these places. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I think if he stayed in Motor America, what Herron is doing now, I think Danilo would have did the year after.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that he has the potential, and we see what he's doing. In I mean, who knows? Because obviously he jacked himself up in World Superbike, and he's coming back. Now Marc Marquez and Ducati. Do you think that like we see Alex Marquez sign another couple of years with Grassini? What do you guys think about Marc Marquez and the factory ride and his thoughts on where he finishes now, and he blames the 23 bike saying it doesn't have the same seasoning that the 24 bike has.
I mean, he wasn't saying that in the beginning of the year when he was getting all those second places.
Right.
It's now when like I said, I think those 2024 bikes have been figured out. For me, I don't know where next season is gonna go with Pecco and Mark being together. I know that it's gonna draw in a lot of fans and stuff like that, but as a personal rider, I don't know how I feel. Like Pecco's like, I don't care what happens, Mark. I'm still gonna win my championship. Mark is still trying to continue his legacy. So hopefully, I don't know how that's gonna work out.
Any thoughts?
No. Nothing. Let's hope Mark gets it figured out and wins next year. Because even though I don't like Ducati, I like Mark a lot. That's why. So
Yeah,
I like his.
You think he has a chance for next year?
I don't know. For second place, yeah, the Pecco's just that fast, you know. Pecco's just smooth and out front, and he's just right now can't catch him, you know. So, but we'll see. But second place next year. If Mark don't crash a lot, I think second place, you know, for Mark next year. So on a better bike.
Mark has the most crashes this year out of any rider in
And last
GP.
year.
You know,
And a year before.
so yeah, hopefully he can stay on that thing, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it may be a little bit hard for Marquez because it's one of those things where he's the. I mean, we can debate about who's better between him and Rossi, but he's the closest thing
Mark?
to that, right?
Nah,
They're,
nah, it's Rossi.
they're the two that's, you know what I mean? Like, you'd compare. It's like, okay, either, like, so I don't know if Pecos is that kind of rider, like a Marquez or like a Rossi, because Pecco was 4 years into MotoGP before he won, and Rossi and Marquez was doing that a lot quicker and stuff like that. And they they dominated in a different way, where it seems like Pecco's using science and data, managing the clock. Marquez and them dudes was just trying to just stretch you out and just stretch you. Just like it's just like,
Right.
you know, if I could be 10 seconds ahead of you by the race is over, that's what it's going to be.
Right.
Where Pecco's like, I just need to be 2 seconds in front of you, and I, based on all the information I have, your bike is not going to last as long.
Okay, true.
You know. So I think it's different like that, but I do believe that the way, I think because Pecco has Rossi in his corner, he makes up for that difference that Marquez, like, you know, you talk about, you know, is Acosta like Marquez? He may be, maybe not this year, but next year he might come into his own, so he may be closer to Rossi in that sense, and he could dominate next year, that kind of thing. But I think for Pecco, it's just like if he figures out that if he figures out the 2025 bike before Marquez does, which chances are he probably will, just because he's just been with Ducati that long. It's going to be hard for Marquez to catch him.
Okay, fair enough.
I agree too, and we're also just thinking Pecco. I think Jorge Martin is a great rider.
Yeah, I'm kind of forgot about him.
I mean, I know we can say Mark with his stats is better, but I don't know at this moment. I don't know if Mark can maintain, especially being on the Ducati just for 1 year. I mean, I know Jorge Martin's moving on, so that's the only upside, is that now Jorge Martin's gonna have to figure out the Pro year. Mark's gonna have to figure out the new 25 bike, what he wanted, and Pecco is just gonna just do him. So,
right.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be mostly them three, but it's gonna be tough.
And you brought up Martin for next year, him and Bezecchi. I mean, do you think those guys are going to get up to speed on the Pro year in the first year? I mean, it took Vinales, and I'm a fan of Vinales. It took him what, almost 2 years?
That is true. That is true. We got a point there. But I don't know. I think Martin's just that hungry. He'll just go in there and send it from day one and be okay, you know. So I think he's just not as like methodical. He's just like, you know what, I'm going there full gas and I'm gonna go. And his talent speak for itself. So I think like he'll be fine, honestly, you know.
All right. How about yourself, TJ?
Well, I mean, I think Jorge Martin definitely goes off of a ton. I think hopefully you have hopefully this year he can pull it off, but next year we'll move to a different manufacturer. For him to come up to speed quickly, for anyone, I think will be tough, but hopefully he can manage it. I mean, his experience level, he's seen it. Like, you can't celebrate after wins because it's gonna haunt you the next race. So
Right.
hopefully all that is dialed in. He's got it's basically like a new career start where he can just put all those pieces together and then just perform well. And hopefully it probably doesn't have their manufacture, malfunctions that they go through sometimes, like losing a chain like Maverick did, or mechanical. I mean, everyone goes through issues, but
The clutch, bro.
So
The
you gotta.
clutch. That starts at a
Yep.
like. That's the crazy part because I mean, if like the gremlins in that bike, if they figured it out, because I honestly like when TJ and I were talking at the beginning of this before the season started, just based on how Aprilia and KTM finished last year, I actually thought they were going to be more competitive this year than they have been. You know what I mean? But it seems like you'll hear people dog Maverick and stuff like that, but the Aprilia guys are coming out and saying it's the bike. There are gremlins in the bike. Something to. I don't know how. I mean, these are prototype bikes. I'm no engineer, so you think you get a slipper clutch on a street bike and you stick it in and you're good to go, right?
Right.
It's just like, how can't they get the clutch right? And when they got it right, the bike was illegal. That I think it was like one round. The bike was right, but the clutch was illegal. Whatever they did.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works. So, but yeah, so you would think you plug it in, it goes and it works, but for them it's a lot more scientific for those guys, So
Yeah.
that's why they get paid the big bucks. Figure that stuff out. Them engineers over there. So,
What are your thoughts, TJ?
Sorry, I missed that one.
Aprilia with the mechanicals. How they can't I mean, because Honda's not sitting here saying we have mechanicals. They know what the issue is. They just haven't figured out how to make it work right. But these guys, like, they got stuff breaking on their bikes essentially.
Well, yeah, I was just mentioning how the mechanical problems. Hopefully, they can slim down that so they can have a better season. But I think they're right there. I think it's there's so many different tracks they go to, so you got to have data for all these tracks, and it's probably just a couple that they just don't have dialed in right, and something just goes wrong, like you lose a jade or something like that.
right.
Like I said, it's so much deeper than we probably know these mechanics and all their data.
Right.
But I think it just probably has to. You got to know how to see like when they have mechanical problems. What tracks is it at? If is it a common issue at certain same tracks? But hopefully they can definitely figure that out. They will be in contention, I would say, if that's the case, because they're doing pretty well now.
It's possible next year Raul Fernandez might be the fastest Aprilia rider because he's going to have the most seat time.
True. Got it. Good point there too.
You know what I mean?
Oh, Martin's the pole master. I mean, he'll figure it out, I'm sure, and
win the sprint, right?
get a good fast lap, But I don't know about 25 plus laps, man. The one lap, I think Martin will hold it down on Aprilia to start.
And he also has Aleix, and I think Aleix will dump a lot of information. Right. And I mean, hey, listen, they're sitting out in the backyard. They already, I'm pretty sure they're talking bikes. I mean, I know they're not supposed to, but I'm pretty sure that he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do this and hit the gym because you're gonna have to bulk up a little bit. Because it sounds like Vinales is saying how that bike is a fast bike, is great, but it's a very difficult bike to ride. So,
but I never quite understood how a bike is hard to ride. I'm sure it's my not being able to ride that many bikes, but to me, a bike is a bike. So explain to me how a bike is hard to ride, in your opinion, though.
From what I understand, yeah, I think it's like brain surgery. You got to have a feel, and those bikes have like almost like you have to be Michael Jackson with the air or one of these opera singers to understand to feel the bike because the suspension is so rigid, and you see that with like even with the Moto2 riders and stuff as well. So I think and the brakes are so powerful and stuff like that. So it's more just the feel of being able to just master that. And not only that, they got all these they're doing so much on the bike. It's not like they're just riding a bike. You got squat device and and you see they're flipping knobs and doing all these things and conserving fuel and changing engine mapping and stuff like that. And so it really. Like you really have to have a high IQ to probably be ride these bikes at the right level because it's not just jumping on a bike and you just got to worry about gas and brakes.
Well, no, okay. So I get it, but kind of what you just said. That's riding all their bikes. There's a lot going on, but I mean, but why is the Ducati easy to ride than an Aprilia
At
or the
this mo-
Honda easy?
at this moment, uh,
Yeah.
they just got it sorted out better. At this moment, their parts just work better.
Okay.
That I think that's all it is. And the 8 riders, sure, having 4 more riders on the grid obviously helps than just 4 riders, much less just 2. So having the 4 riders, I think, also help as well. But I think chasing speed, I think, and Ducati, they're owned by Audi, so I think they got some money. And I think for them chasing speed, like when the wings came out, everybody clowned them.
Right.
When the ride high device, they clowned them until they were starting to do things, and then they made the wings illegal in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So, and now you look at, and then you saw what Pole pulled out over the last race weekend, where they got wings on the rear subframe. Right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, like it looked weird, man. Like a knife, you know what I'm saying?
you know what I'm saying? So, so I think but again, Ducati was bad for a while. Casey Stoner was the only person that was able to, I don't even know if he tamed the beast, but was able to get the win, because Rossi thought that bike was a different bike, and he jumped on it, and he was just crashing.
Yeah, like it was terrible. Yeah, I remember that.
Dovizioso, when those first guys, and Noni, when they first got on it, they struggled a bit. So they really didn't get those bikes sorted out until I know Dovizioso had some runs with Marquez and stuff like that in 2017 and 2018 and stuff like that, but like, they just sorted it out, which I'm a fan for that, because like I said, we like, I think if you look at Marquez's stats, I think it's like 1 or 2 years he didn't win a title in a row.
True.
It's ridiculous. Like up until he got hurt, the 1 year was Jorge Martin, and not Jorge Martin, Jorge Lorenzo took it that I think it was 15 or 16, but outside that it was Marquez from 2012 or 13.
Right.
So,
okay. True.
You know what I mean? So I think for and I think for the Honda riders, the Honda guys, I think, sometimes when you're on top, you don't want to heed the warnings of the people below you, and you think that your house is solid, and we don't need to change everything. We've been winning for so long. We don't need to change anything. We've been winning for so long. I don't think Honda and Yamaha thought that Ducati would be doing what it's doing right now in like 2015 or 2016, when they're looking at like, yeah, whatever. Let them do whatever they want to do. We got Marquez, we got these guys, Danny Pedrosa and all these and these big riders, and Lorenzo and stuff like that.
They're ignoring the climate change.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, now it's different, and and I don't remember the amount of contingencies that Honda, which they got so much, I don't know how they figure out contingency, because Honda got way too much money to have contingencies. I'm sorry. But like,
they need it, man.
Ducati, it was like KTM and Aprilia. It was like KTM and Aprilia was the only ones that had them back in the day. Like Ducati didn't even have one when their bike was bad. So it's kind of weird now that Honda, like they're paying off the ref.
Right.
I always thought that Ducatis were like the chasing the speed bikes. And like I grew up riding a Suzuki. So, Suzuki, Yamaha to me always, for me, I thought was just easier to turn, easier to handle. Like the Ducati is more of like if you want to go fast on a straightaway. So even coming into MotoGP, watching like when Suzuki, when Alex Rins and Mir was on it, like they can turn those bikes really well. And then there's some tracks where if the straightaway is just too long, Ducati is just gonna come and take it over.
Right.
But now I think Ducati is way more rideable, where they can actually hit the corners now without getting delayed on the speed. And then I think they just got that figured out, where now the other bikes need the speed, like Yamaha, they need the speed. Right. And then once they get it, it's like, all right, we need to figure out how to slow down to hit the corner to keep up. But I got a question for you, Smitty. With all this contingencies going on, like, how do you think Honda can improve for the rest of the year, knowing that they have they can test any private test, any circuit. They can get 6 wild cards throughout the year, 4 engines. And like I was telling Rexy, the last race at Red Bull, their best result was Taka with getting 14th, which is 2 points, only in the GP race, but all the other Honda riders didn't qualify for the sprint or GP. I
How
just want to
can
see them
they
do better.
improve?
Yeah, how
To
can
be honest, I mean, my honest thoughts on Honda, I think they're stuck in their old ways and don't want to adapt to what's going on now. Like I said, the Italian guys, Ducatis, they change things. If things don't work, they scrap it, move on, and they innovate. Honda, it could be, Japanese culture is our old way works. I'm gonna stick with it and ride till I die and die on that hill of being stuck in their ways. So the only way to get Honda better is to is a new way of thinking, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Just innovate. And they aren't.
I definitely think they need to scrap something.
Yeah, really.
Scrap the
They
Mark
do.
Marquez playbook. He's gone.
Right. Something, yeah. So
Speaking of, before we get out of here, being gone, let's move over to World Superbike. And, I thought until Ducati released their 2025 bike, I literally was going to buy a BMW S1000RR after what I saw Top Rock do this year on the BMW. What are your thoughts on World Superbike, where Albert is, what Top Rock is doing unlike you look Marquez switched bikes, who is it? Who else switched? Ray switched bikes. Sam Lowe's just came into Superbike on a Ducati, but in MotoGP we see some riders switch bikes. Top Rocker is one of the only rider that I've seen switch manufacturers and dominated from the pretty much onset of the season.
to be honest, World Superbike, there's not much to talk about. Tyrek is up by 100 points almost. That's kind of what it is. It's a wrap. He won it by a long shot. And what sucks though is you had guys like Garrett Gerloff who were doing okay last year on the bike. They're like, okay, well, the bike is not that good. Now to see the bike is good and makes them look worse.
Right.
So, but outside of that, yeah, Tyrek is just unbelievable. I love seeing that guy ride, man. Seriously.
He shouldn't even be in World Superbike. The way he's just tearing up everybody's stats,
Yeah,
but
crushing them.
you can't just leave BMW hanging like that and such. So
now, do you think? Because last year Alvaro pretty much dominated, right? And
Yes.
Top Rock had to override that Yamaha, and I don't think he has to override the BMW, but the Ducati riders are not overriding the Ducati.
Okay.
I mean, do you think that's kind of like you just think? Do you think he's taking more risk, or he's just? I mean, it's pretty impressive. Because coming into his own is really hard to say. Somebody like first year on a bike is doing what he's doing. So is he just? Was he? Did the Yamaha was more restricted for him, and this guy should he be in MotoGP at some point? Is it a thing where he may get next 3 to 4 years or maybe even 6 years like Ray, just be a championship champion? I think the 2025 Ducati got something to say about that BMW. So
I think so. Top Rack, I think his GP dreams are done. Honestly, he's too old.
Unless
for that.
BMW goes to GP.
Correct. I hope they do.
Yeah,
but I doubt it. For him, it's the age thing. GP likes their own old guys or young guys from Moto 3. I'm sorry, Moto 2.
Right.
That's why. You may find a guy, somebody comes in from there, but it's not often anymore. It's not like the Ben Speeds and like Nicky Hayden days where they bring guys from World Bike to GPs. It's just not that common anymore. So
Carl Clutchlow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that now, and I'll let you jump in, TJ, in a little bit. I think now that you got the World Superbike riders now going to Moto 2 at a younger age, the Jake Dixons and stuff like that. Going into Moto 2 and like Skinner and some of these other riders that came from BSB and stuff like that, and try to get it. Even Sean Dylan Kelly and Cam Bobier, these guys coming into Moto 2. I think that road is, instead of Moto GP, is now like Moto 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens if BMW comes in, because I think there's rumors out that they bought I shouldn't say bought, they have they acquired Suzuki's data for their bike, but it sounds like if you look at the V4s in MotoGP, I think it would have to be like a V4 bike, but again, coming in at 850. If BMW came into MotoGP in 2027 with an 850cc bike, that might be interesting.
Right.
I was saying, going back to Top Rock, he's definitely not going to GP with not being on a factory bike. So that's just a harder move for him. I just wanted to throw that in there because we were jumping off topic. But yeah, I think that it'll be BMW. Yeah, hopefully they go to MotoGP. I've always mentioned like I wanted to see another manufacturer. I didn't know Kawasaki was in it years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah.
So like they're definitely not coming back. But Suzuki's out of it. It's just only certain amount of manufacturers we can bring in. So hopefully BMW can. Like I said, if Top Rock going to MotoGP, like you said, the age difference and he's just not going to go to any team that's available. He's going to want that the new bike, the team that got the good data that can win. But you see, he won't miss a beat no matter what bike he gets on. So
right, and I think if he stayed in the World Superbike, we'll see what. I do look from what from the WDW round championship with Ducati, the 2025 bikes. I think that bike has a little bit more punch than the current bike. So I think that might be a closer bike. I mean, because even you look at Buliga's riding that bike.
He's doing good, yeah.
Inoni is trying. Petrucci is trying on that bike, but it does seem like Top Rock just seems to have a little bit more on that bike on the BMW than the Ducati riders. And the last round, we saw the Ducati riders the closest they've been to Top Rock this whole year. But I think the 2025 bike might give the BMW a chance against Top Rock, because you can't. I'm not going to sit here and say Redden and Vandemar and Gerloff is leaving next year. Those guys haven't done the same thing that Top Rock has done on the BMW. So could it be a one-off?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, he's just that good. So but
yeah, they can't.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Mark said situation. They can't just. I think it's a one-off. Because they don't want to run away with all that data, and then years down the line, it only took Top Rock's type of. No one could ride like him.
Okay, but Rex,
yes.
So tell me your thoughts on the new Ducati for next year, the 25 version, the Panigale V4. You want one?
Well, yes.
He wants two.
Okay.
It's funny. I reached out to like 3 dealers already.
They're sold out or what?
Well, there's a list. It's interesting. There's a list of riders on one dealer. Then I call another dealer that's close to me.
Okay.
And I don't know how you feel about dealerships, but if I don't get the warm and fuzzy, I'm kind of skeptical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I hate them, yeah. I don't like them at all.
So it's like, they're very close, but he's like, come in, you can throw a deposit down, the bike could be here, and then a guy I used to deal with that works at a Ducati dealership up north, I reached out to him. And he was just like, hey, I get the specs for you, I'll get the price for you, and if you want one, we'll reserve one. And that was his response. I was like, all right, that's what I want to hear. I don't
Yeah,
want
that's
to. I don't,
simple
I don't
enough.
want to
Yeah,
hear that. I don't want to hear that there's 9 people in front of me or whoever in front of me. I don't want to. It's just like it's nice to know, like, okay, there'll be a bike waiting for you in November when it comes in, kind of
right.
thing. Uh,
Because for the new bikes, so the new Honda Fireblade, the one that was in the UK for the past year,
huh.
comes to America for 25. I ain't gonna lie, I want one, man.
Mm.
I really want one bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So to answer your question, it's on the. I'm trying to make it make sense. You know, it's interesting. We're doing a giveaway that starts in September for new riders and stuff like that. But yeah, so I have an 1198S 2010, and you know I've always said I was going to get like the newer bike with the technology, the 1199, which was all right, the 1299, which was all right. When the Panigale came out, or the V4, I was just like, all right, let me wait for some to figure out the gremlins, right? Because there's always gremlins on and stuff like that. But then I was building race bikes and getting race bikes and stuff like that. So, but now I'm ready to, you know, I honestly, I was looking at the 23 or 24 because I thought like, okay, this is the best Ducati super bike right here, the 2023, the 2024, based on figuring all the gremlins and all that stuff and what people say. But then when they talked about the 25, outside of electronics, I guess, and you know the double sided swing arm versus single sided,
yeah,
it seems like that bike you know it looks pretty good from what I can tell. So you know if I was thinking like all right 23 24 is the bike. But now that 25 is like is like
but hey, but you know Hondas don't have gremlins, right? Just saying, man.
you know what? You're right. You're right. I can't. You're right.
Or not a,
But
on the head.
this is the thing with Ducatis and every other bike. Um, a lot of when anyone rides a Ducati, you know, if you've been to Dream Weekend in Jamaica, or you know, go to a MotoGP race in Mugello, one of these big places, or go to a large concert, riding a Ducati is an experience that you can't get from any other bike. You know what I mean? Other bikes will handle the same, will do all the same things, but that experience, the characteristics, if I'm watching videos of people, YouTubers and everybody online and talk about bikes, the BMWs and all that stuff, you know, when they jump on a Ducati, you know, it's, you
It's a little
know,
different.
it's
We're
different.
burning nuts off.
Correct. It'd be hot.
You know, it's like hanging out with a supermodel. You know what I mean? It's
Stop it.
the best restaurant, the best vacation, the best the experience of it is just it's crazy because like my 1198 like I almost traded that bike in for a Aprilia Tuono, and this is a 2010, and like I was like, all right, I'll get the new bike with all the tech and stuff like that. I test rode it at RSV4, and I came back to the dealership. I'm like, I'll keep my 1198, and
Okay.
you know what I mean. So the characteristics of that bike. Don't get me wrong, yeah, the older ones they break, right? They had their issues and stuff like that. But the newer
Yeah.
ones now, outside of the price, you know, when you ride a Ducati like that, like you're gonna be smiling the whole time, and I think you can get that with the BMW and the Honda and all these other bikes. But you get that if you never do it on a Ducati. But if you've ride a Ducati, you know it's gonna be like, damn, this
Right.
BMW is nice, but you know the Panigale is just gonna give you more. And you see, like I said, all the top YouTubers and everyone talk about that bike. And just I've had like 4 Ducatis, I've had 1 Honda, no Suzuki. I am a fan of Suzuki, but I haven't owned a Suzuki. Well, I had a Kawasaki back in the day and stuff like that. But I almost bought the BMW. Like I said, up until this point, like TJ tell you, like that the way he was riding that 24 BMW, I was just like, yeah, I might get that bike. But that was my only drawback of the 2024 is that people just say like it does everything right, but when you finish, you don't get the same excitement you do from other bikes, and it's like cars, and it's like it's the excitement, it's just the feel and stuff like that. So for me,
Gotcha.
That's the one thing that the Ducati gives you.
Okay, fair enough. Understood.
And they like Jordans, They draw people to wait in line. Got to get every pair, every number. I got the Jordan 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. Those people, the Ducati guys. They got to get the 11.99, 12.99, the V4. I got to go through all of them. No, I'll
So,
stick to
yo,
my
hmm,
Suzuki. Same retail value. I can trade it and
so
get the
check it
same
out. So
value.
fun.
Don't lose half. Sorry, guys.
No, so fun fact about myself. I've never owned a pair of Jordans in my life.
Okay.
Never. Yeah.
Oh well, I think I had one pair, so I'm not one of those Jordan guys either. But I
Yeah,
think
me
I own
neither.
one pair. But
Now I got a ton of
maybe
LeBrons now, but
I can't speak on that. I've had a bunch of Jordans,
my
but
sneaker game has decreased since I started racing. I can tell you that.
I know the budget.
So,
everything is decreased. Everything is like vacation and racing. That's it. Everything else is on a budget.
Vacation, like what's that? Man? I can't afford a vacation.
going, going to the track. That's
Right.
vacation.
Gotta
Yeah.
buy a new helmet.
No doubt. So your bike for 2025 is gonna be the new fire. Is it gonna be a new Fireblade or just a European version of the Fireblade? How does that? How does that
Nah,
work?
it's a brand new one. It's okay. So Honda made the Fireblade Triple R in 2021. I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only in over there in the UK. But then for 24 in the UK, they had a new one. It was throttle bodies. They changed a whole lot of things internally. And over here, we had the old one. But now we're getting the new one over here for 25. So I have my eye on it for sure. So now, can I ride it? I don't know. Probably not. I can barely ride my 600, but still, I still want it. So we talked about the budget and the prices of racing. Yeah, this bike costs 25 grand, but I'll figure it out, man.
Yeah,
I'll,
I was gonna say because over the last I don't know probably since the R1M, right? I think
Mhm.
from that bike came out, it seems like Japanese bikes have been really close to Ducati prices. You,
Yeah,
you're right since then. So like you think about, you're saying 25 grand for the Fireblade, and you can get you can get a standard Panigale for that same price. Uh,
yeah,
it's very interesting now. How the price gap is. I mean, BMW's 40 grand, Panigale's 40 grand. Uh,
crazy, ain't it?
yeah,
That's wild.
R1M 28, pretty much 30 grand bikes. So when you're looking at you're a Honda guy, so you're not. I can't even change your mind because I'm like, it's like there's a Panigale and there's a Honda. You're still going Honda,
Mm-hmm. You are correct.
I like it.
you know. And I'll say that's how Marquez should have been. He should have been like, I'm staying with Honda no matter what.
Right. Nah, you got to win. You got to hold. So I get it, though. I understand.
All right, all right.
Chasing those titles.
How about yourself, TJ? New Jigsaw on the what? I see people who talk about Jigsaws. Like, what's the deal with Jigsaw riders? Is that a thing? Like, Jigsaw riders. Like, I hear people
I
always
mean,
bashing Jigsaw riders. They have certain
yeah, man.
characteristics.
People always bashing Jigsaw riders for being squids and all that good stuff when everyone do the same thing with every bike. I think it's
No,
because we just got the one headlight. Everyone hates on that.
you're correct, though. And you're
Um,
correct. I think all bikers are the same. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I love my Jigsaws just the way they sit, and I had a 600, now I ride 1,000. But my track bike's a Yamaha, so um, I want to see them improve. It sucked to see them leave MotoGP, but I'm still riding them.
Right.
The new ones that have come out, like they don't upgrade like Ducati would, but they'll add like one or two things where they'll keep the same chassis, same engine style, same headlight, or body kits, maybe change one color. But I do like this new one. It came out in 2024 though, the GSX-8S. It's like a touring bike, so it's something different. It comes with a quick shifter, just as much power.
okay.
So yeah, it's a newer bike, a little different style, but that's one of the Suzuki's that I like for upcoming years. for
now
the New Year's.
you didn't mention the 750, because that 750 is uh, it seems like it's the only bike that can stand next to the V2, uh, Ducati.
I mean, yeah, the Gixxer 750 is like the bread and butter. I would say it's like one of those bikes that a lot of manufacturers really didn't have. It's either the 600 or 1000. Suzuki had the in between, where the weight is kind of like a 600, but you give that half power close to 1000. So I really like those bikes, but I haven't really been a 750 guy. Um, my first bike was the Gixxer 600. And
Yeah.
now I got the 1000, so I jumped right over.
Gotcha.
Before we get out of here, any thoughts on we do a poll on the on channel. A lot of people are saying Bastianini is going to win in Aragon. Who do you think is going to dominate in Aragon this weekend coming up?
You know what? I say Marquez every week, and Aragon is a more of a left-hand turn course anyway, which supposedly he's better at. So Marquez, he's my pick.
Yeah, I would agree to that as well. I've been rooting for Marc Marquez this year, but like he is good with the left hand turns. And nothing against his brother, but his brother did really well a couple years ago at this
Right.
track. And if he did well, I know Mark would do well. So definitely rooting for Mark. I want to see the standings shake up a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna still go with Bastianini. Um, I think that if he qualifies well, it's gonna be very difficult. I think I don't know if Aragon is DeMarquez's brother home track or not, or if it's another track in Spain for those guys. But Aleix, I think all the Spanish riders are gonna probably try to do really well. Martin, Aleix, the Marquez brothers. I mean, I really can't call out anyone on the Honda or Yamaha, but I think it's Spirit, because those guys they spend a lot of time on those tracks.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully it's a good. I know it's gonna be a good turnout, and maybe hopefully Honda can get up in there. All the manufacturers, someone they get points. That's the goal to get points in the end of each race, especially as a team. So hopefully every manufacturer can steal a point or two,
Right.
and not just Ducati.
Nice. Well, we're gonna get out of here, man. Let's. Can you, Smitty and then TJ, tell people how they can find you? Tell people, all the fun stuff, and how they can connect with you.
Yeah. For me, my name is Smitty. YouTube is Smith Shot Racing. Instagram, Smith Shot Racing. And that's it, man. Hit me up. Follow, subscribe. Watch my videos.
No
I
doubt.
definitely be watching those videos. My name is TJ. I do 2 Wheels and Coffee, but you can find me on Instagram at TJ Bike Life or 2 Wheels, 2 Wheels _ coffee.
No doubt. My name is Rex45, Rexy45 anywhere, spelled out. Next month, check out BeForeverCool.com. We're going to be doing a custom race suit giveaway. You can win a Dainese custom DE race suit, Dainese boots, custom, and stock gloves because they don't offer custom gloves yet. Definitely sign up on the account and try to win yourself some gear because it's very expensive to go racing. And the goal of it is just to help out new riders, get gear to go to the track and do the things that we enjoy doing without waiting, 2, 3. I mean, I don't know your budget, but it took me a little bit.
Right. Me too.
You know what I mean? My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ, 2 Wheels and Coffee.
My name's Smitty. And I'm out.
Peace.
Peace.